The main thing is to protect these characters. Make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them. The main thing is to protect these characters and that the universe of Star Wars continues to grow.
The main thing is to protect these characters.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!
Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, Tinseltown's poster girl, queen of deceit, just butchered the most ruthless bounty hunter that lived a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. All right, Kathleen, you threw down the gauntlet, so I'll just pick it up. Welcome, Slayer Nation. I hope you're all well and fighting fit, my friends, because today we're going to start to take down a giant. While we shovel through the bantha poodoo of what remains of the Book of Boba Fett's Episode 3, the City of Mos Espa, I'm going to start laying the groundwork to topple a rancorous beast that has made Lucasfilm and Star Wars into a political soapbox and her own personal outhouse. Now, Star Wars, the City of Mos Espa, has become a carking embarrassment. Carking, that is a great, fun word. It's a Huttese word, you know, Jabba the Hutt's clan. It's one of the new swear words from Star Wars that I just learned in time for the City of Mos Espa, which is written by Jon Favreau and directed by Robert Rodriguez. Two greats I once admired, who I have now placed as new members in the Ballless Beta Male Club.
I was hoping not to say as much as I have already in the first two episodes. I speak far too much. Excuse me, director. I really feel that Ming-Na should say these lines because I want to stay mysterious. I think this is too much. I think this is too much. Then I'd go to, what was the other guy's name? Noah. The scene tomorrow. I'm talking too much. This Boba doesn't talk this much. Look, I've got all these paragraphs here. I think we should get rid of it.
It's truly a sad tale. And you're going to say, George, they have studio bosses. They have to do what they're told. They're outgunned. And I'd share with you if they had any character, any honor, anything even remotely resembling courage, guts, they would have said no. They would have raised such a ruckus in the media that they'd be regarded as noble Jedi. They would begin laying the final public straws that would break the camel's back, leading to Her Highness, the heinous Kathleen, being shoved out on her butt and into the streets. Unfortunately, Favreau and Rodriguez just smiled and played along like typical Hollywood eunuchs. And you know, that's half the problem in this world. Too much go along, too much get along. Well, sometimes, whether it concerns a movie or real life, you have to take a stand.
And tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
So, let's stir some of the poodoo. I joined the series right after Fett finished off Fortuna and claimed the big chair for himself. I was excited. I wanted to watch the rise of the armored Grim Reaper with a jetpack become the planet's new Jack City kingpin. I was elated, and I understood that the skill sets between servant and master are completely different. I accepted that. I knew he was going to change a bit, but we didn't even get a temperamental, trigger-ready Tony Soprano. What they served us up was nothing but a telephone tough guy.
I better kick your ass.
Yeah, that's right. Telephone tough guy. Put Vito on a phone.
I wanted to watch Boba grow into the daimyo of Tatooine, not transition into the new mascot for Mr. Clean. Now, without further ado, let's review some of the worst of this episode. So Fett is visited by a vassal who turns his audience with Boba into a comedy roast, letting him know that the streets think he's a joke.
No one respects you.
Enough!
It was right about that point when I realized this has got to be some like meta commentary or foreshadowing, letting us know how episode 3 is going to go. Well, the vassal promised Mr. Polygrip Teeth that If you can clean out the gang of cyberpunk cutthroats, I'll pay you twice the tribute. So when Boba showed up to confront the gang, I was again excited. I was like, here we go. This is badass Boba gonna blast his way back to reclaim his name. And was my excitement rewarded? No. Nope. Didn't happen. Favreau twisted Boba Fett into Star Wars' very own Mr. Rogers. All that was missing was the sweater vest.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
And to make matters worse, Boba even balked at giving the gang a beat down. He's like, you have to send a message so that everyone knows you can't mess with his people. But instead of doing that, he talked to this group of diverse emo teens who pushed off their Power Rangers neon-colored Vespas to share their personal truths. So the warm and fuzzy Fett decided to give him a job. And then he transformed his mighty fortress palace into a home for wayward boys. Congratulations, Kathleen. You transported us from Tatooine to a Portland Antifa rally.
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them.
From social worker to Tusken tribesman, Boba goes back into the Bacta-tank and into his past. You know, the time we spent in his history actually were some of the highlights of episode 3. But there weren't enough of them. Boba's waking up by some troubling memories while he's simultaneously ripped out of the Bacta-tank by none other than Black Chrysanthemum. Well, the Black Wookiee beat Boba Fett like a rented mule, and he's standing there half naked and losing. All of a sudden, his emo crew storms in to the rescue. The teens and Fennec Shan drive Black Chrysanthemum into the Rancor trap. And then who makes a guest appearance? Well, it's Boba Fett walking into the throne room wearing a robe like he's Hugh Hefner minus the Playboy bunnies. So, you have Boba and Fennec Shan are served up this 9-course meal, which looked like the remains from Disney's empty Galactic Star Cruiser hotel. They're feasting, and I'm like, feasting is for winners like coffee is for closers. What the hell are these two losers celebrating? Right about that time, the Hutt twins arrive, bringing an apology gift to say, hey, so sorry, we put out a contract on your life to kill you. No problem. Here's a sleeping Rancor with a nameless Rancor trainer played by Danny Trejo. Boba Fett brings a chained Black Chrysanthemum in tow, and he's like, okay, I'll accept your tribute, but you got to bugger off this rock. And what do you think happened next? You had the Hutt twins who were like, hey, no problem. But psych, we were already leaving the planet. Even his enemies don't respect him. And then, did he shoot Black Chrysanthemum? Did he kill him? No, he gave him the boot. But before he did, he offered him some words of advice. He's like, don't work for Skugholes. I'm like, you see the Wookiee jogging out of the screen. And I'm like, the only thing he didn't do was say, adios, muchachos. Hasta luego, mi amigo. Catch you later, buddy. It was just business. I couldn't believe it. So I paused. I took a breath and smiled and said, this cannot get any worse. I cleared my mind and then dove back in. Right when Boba and the Rancor trainer were discussing the complex psychology of the carnivorous reptilian beast from Dathomir. I'm like, what is this, Star Wars version of Animal Planet?
Why does it just lie there?
It's depressed.
This beast can feel such things.
Rancor are emotionally complex creatures.
Boba then orders the trainer to teach him how to ride the calf. And it was at that moment that I realized now we know how this season's going to end. You're going to have Boba charging through Mos Espa on the back of his buddy Bozo. It couldn't get any worse, right? Okay. So we had one final degradation in the next few set of scenes. Boba Fett, Fennec Shan, and their emo teens from the cast of Nickelodeon Zoe 101 driving their Jet X's to City Hall.
Jet X! Wow! in control. JetX! Is it a motorcycle? Is it a scooter? No, it's a JetX! Did you get that?
They needed to talk to the mayor, but surprise, surprise, he had disappeared. No one had seen him. They lined up outside the main doors of City Hall in a cheer squad V. I'm like, come on, come on. Then they engaged the oldest Hollywood trope, the car chase. They started to pursue the mayor's major domo as he took off in his speeder, speeding and zipping through town. But they were going as slow as snails. They crashed through a stained glass window that was painted with Jabba the Hutt in his court. They zipped past, almost smashing into a look-alike of a silver C-3PO whose costume looked like it came from Walmart and it still had the price tag on it. Well, a few hops, skips, and jumps with their hover bikes, and a few moments later, and the major domo's speeder crashes, and they catch up to him. Then all of a sudden, Boba Fett, we see his feet at the top of the screen dangling as he comes landing in a puff of smoke. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. His jetpack works? He flew and we didn't even get to see it? And I was like, okay, what's going on here? So the writer's room was either really lazy, and they said, you know, if we show him in flight, people will realize that he's going faster than everyone else, and he'll catch up to them before his emo teams do, and that'll kill our message. It's either that or they didn't have a big budget, and it just simply stinks. But we have one final embarrassment. Just one more. The episode ended on a bad pun when Boba told his cyber-eyed spy, hey, keep an eye out on the Pikes disembarking the Skyliner. And not a moment later, not even a second's pause, Boba Fett, the most ruthless bounty hunter in the galaxy, apologized for his most insensitive remark to his agent.
How many?
So a dozen at least.
Keep an eye on them. Sorry, it's an expression.
Why would we want to look at your eye? Is there something wrong with that weird eye?
And that's where the episode ended. So, as far as the Book of Boba Fett is concerned, my friends, like I told you from the beginning, I'll give every show 3 episodes to discover if it's got the goods or it stinks as a sewer sump. Well, I'm officially out, but I have a lot of people who keep asking me to continue plotting through this series in order to tell them what's what and what's going on. Now, if you want me to do that, leave a comment down below and tell me, hey, George, I want you to keep watching it, keep reviewing it, and give me the heads up. And if that's the case, of course I will do it. I will always go the distance for you. But as far as the space western meets The Godfather, what it represents is Disney continuing to deconstruct alpha male leads in legendary tales. I mean, they deconstructed Boba Fett. They broke him down and reassembled him into a punchline meme. And every time there was going to be a breakout scene that was going to blow the audience away, where badass Boba was going to return, they Rian Johnsoned our expectations and set Fett to shame himself. I mean, he all but figuratively drank from the Last Jedi's giant titty beast, that embarrassing blue Skywalker milk. I mean, what more could they do to Fett? So, today is day 1. I have a surprise for you. In order to keep the flame of Star Wars alive, we're going to show the Mouse House what creativity, heart, and old-fashioned grit can achieve by making a dream come to life. One of the ways to topple a giant is by creating content. But you want to create content that contrasts with the cultural poison that divides people that they're currently producing, versus a unifying content that brings people together, made up of great, solid stories with mythical figures. So over the last few days, I've been assembling the best crew in the business to make a movie. The script is being written by a true Hollywood pro. As soon as it's finished, I will share a little piece with you so you can get a taste of it. As soon as the storyboards are done, you will be the first to get a few glimpses at them. And I promise you, from start to finish, this film is in honor of you and every single Star Wars fan. It's going to take us somewhere around 24 months or less to make a movie about the real Boba Fett. And that is my gift to you. May the Force be with you always. And remember, never bow down, never bend the knee. Firmly defiant. Step up, stand tall, stomp fear, and get busy living your best life now. Always forward. If you want a chance at winning either a PlayStation 5 or a Nintendo Switch, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below. We use a random picker which will choose the video in the comment. It's genuinely random. So the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. You only have to comment once, but you can increase your chances by commenting once per video. More than that, and it really won't impact the tally from the random picker. So, if you love being a part of Slayer Nation, then I'll continue the giveaways as we battle all the way to the top of the mountain.